The story begins not with gold or silver, but with a single dollar coin, a coin born from necessity itself, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, a coin that defied tradition, a coin that today, in one extraordinary era, has reached the incredible value of over $100,000. Imagine holding in your hand a small metallic circle that carries a legacy of courage, of resourcefulness, and of history fused into one artifact of American coinage. And yet most people have no idea that this simple silvery coin could be hiding right in their pocket change, particularly the highly sought-after Denver D issue. Welcome back to Royal Coin Value USA, the channel where every cent tells a story, and every story might lead you to a hidden fortune. Today we are diving deep into the remarkable tale of the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar, its controversial design, its surprising rarity at the highest grades, and its misunderstood silvery beauty. We are uncovering the jaw-dropping moment that turned an ordinary $1 coin into a multi-thousand-dollar treasure, while focusing on the specific qualities of the Denver strike. Now, before we unfold the mystery, take a second to like this video and subscribe, because by the time we reach the end, you might just find yourself checking every small dollar coin you own for that key D mint mark and its telltale composition. The year was 1979. America was embracing change in its coinage. The economy, the industry, and the very resources of the nation were focused on replacing the large paper dollar with a smaller, convenient coin. The traditional large dollar coin was retired, and the United States Mint was ready to introduce the first small-sized dollar featuring a real American woman, Susan B. Anthony, a civil rights pioneer. A major design and size change forced the United States Mint to make a dramatic change in the composition and size of the dollar coin for a single issue. The mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, creating a coin that looked bright and silvery instead of the typical reddish-brown of a penny or the golden glow of later dollars. This modern dollar instantly earned the nickname the SBA dollar and became one of the most distinctive coins in US history. But what they didn't expect was how this temporary solution would lead to a monumental mint error, a mistake that later became one of the most valuable coins in numismatic history. At first glance, the 1979 SBA dollar looks different and is often confused with the quarter due to its size, a key issue in commerce at the time. And yet its difference is where its story begins. People mistook it for a quarter because of its size, which caused some confusion in commerce at the time. And so it was quickly noticed and largely set aside by the public, perhaps saved as a curiosity. The coin that was supposed to represent convenience was suddenly viewed as a unique historical oddity. But hidden in that story lies a twist. Because not all 1979 dollars were struck flawlessly, and one in particular would go on to be valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. The reason isn't just rarity of the SBA dollar itself. It is the blend of error, condition, and historical accident that only expert collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC truly understand. When a coin is graded by PCGS or NGC, it undergoes an extremely detailed inspection under magnification. Its luster strike surface marks and even die varieties are analyzed to determine a precise grade from poor to perfect mint state 70. The difference between a grade of MS67 and MS68 can mean the difference between $100 and thousands for the SBA dollar. Imagine that. A single microscopic surface mark separating a modest profit from a significant numismatic windfall. And this is exactly what happened with one 1979 D dollar discovered in almost perfect condition. A flawless bright gray surface. No contact marks. No blemishes or surface imperfections. A strike so sharp it captured every detail of the eagle's design, on the reverse a true gem specimen. This particular SBA dollar was authenticated and graded at the highest level possible. Its perfection making it unique among the millions of SBA dollars struck, including the over 200 million struck in Denver. It was then auctioned to a private collector for a staggering amount of price that stunned even veteran numismatists for a simple dollar coin. But to understand why the Denver D coin holds such potential, we must explore its creation and specifications. The coin was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver version, known as 1979D, is abundant, but its ultimate value lies in its high-grade scarcity and unique error potential not found on the other mints. While Philadelphia is famous for its wide rim variety, the 1979D is highly prized for its exceptional condition and freedom from the bag marks that commonly affect this issue. The D mint mark is located below the date, which is the key to identifying this Denver issue. The coin itself is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, giving it its characteristic color and weight. It has a weight of $8.1 grams, which is significantly heavier than the quarter. It has a diameter of $26.5 millimeters and a thickness that is slightly variable based on the die. Small details that seem technical, but to coin experts they mean everything, because each of these specifications tells the story of how and where the coin was struck at the Denver facility. A deviation even by the weight test can signal a rare error. And the rarest minting errors are where true fortunes are born for the 1979D. Imagine finding a 1979D dollar that is struck on a 25-cent planchet, a monumental mistake. Only a handful of these wrong planchet dollars were accidentally struck at the Denver Mint, and each one is worth a 6 or 7-figure sum at auction. Or imagine finding a doubled die obverse where the lettering on Liberty or the date shows faint duplication, a D-mint rarity in the SBA series. These error dollars transform an already historical coin into a numismatic legend worth life-changing amounts. The error coin that sold for a fortune wasn't just perfect. It was a nearly unique wrong planchet, or off-metal strike, part of a tiny group, minted with the wrong composition or size, and once authenticated by PCGS, it became a trophy for the elite collectors community. Now here is where the story turns fascinating. Most people think collecting coins is about luck. But seasoned numismatists know it's about knowledge, grading, and timing. When you find a coin like the 1979D Susan B. Anthony dollar, your first move should be preservation. Never clean the coin, because cleaning destroys the natural surface and reduces value dramatically. Instead, store it in an acid-free holder or a mylar flip immediately. Handle it only by the edges to prevent moisture from initiating damage, which is a major enemy of this clad dollar. And if you suspect it's a high-grade specimen, or that extremely rare error, send it directly to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate, encapsulate, and assign a grade, protecting both its condition and market credibility for all time. Once graded, its value becomes official, and that is when serious collectors and auction houses take notice of the piece. This is where curiosity meets opportunity, a chance to own a piece of modern history and potentially a massive error. And for many watching right now, this could be the beginning of your own numismatic adventure. But the 1979 SBA dollar isn't just about money. It's about legacy. It represents the moment America pooled its resources for change, a direct consequence of a shift in national needs and economic priorities. Its presence on a coin marks a turning point in American manufacturing and coinage history, an era of great social change. A bold decision to use a smaller design instead of the traditional large dollar, which had been the standard for decades. And that gives the coin cultural significance beyond its metallic worth. Every collector who holds one holds a piece of struggle and history wrapped in copper and nickel. As we dive deeper into this coin's mystique, let's talk about condition. Because this is where most people underestimate value, especially for the 1979D. Coins are graded not only on how perfect they look, but also on their eye appeal and strike quality. A coin that appears bright and well-centered commands far more attention than one with dull grey toning or deep bag marks common on poorly starred D-mint issues. A mint state coin has never been in circulation. It shows no signs of wear, and its surfaces shimmer with the original luster under light. This is what collectors crave, and a perfect MS68 1979D SBA dollar is extremely rare and valuable. Now here is something that might surprise you. The difference between a 1979D graded MS-67 and MS-68 can be thousands of dollars. Even though to the naked eye, they look almost identical in the slab. That is why professional grading from PCGS or NGC is so critical. It turns opinions into certified facts regarding the coin's condition and preservation, giving your coin a universal grade recognized around the world by all serious buyers. Let's pause here for a quick moment. Because if you are watching this and you have ever wondered whether the 1979D coin sitting in your drawers might be special, hit that like button. Drop a comment below telling us what modern coins you collect, and make sure to subscribe to Royal Coin Value USA for future deep dives into the most astonishing discoveries in US coin history. Alright, let's bring back the excitement, because we still haven't uncovered the full thrill behind the multi-$1,000 1979D dollar. Picture this. A coin released in 1979, initially disliked by the public because of its size, quietly finds redemption decades later in collectors' markets. Its image, once a curiosity, now symbolizes a milestone in numismatics and era collecting. Today, serious investors look at the 1979 SBA dollar series with fresh respect, because high-grade examples, especially from the Denver Mint, are becoming increasingly scarce in top condition. The Mint only produced the SBA dollar for a few years before switching to the Sacagawea dollar. This limited production run means every high-quality 1979D SBA dollar carries immense rarity potential. And within that limited history, the 1979D that exhibits a perfect strike stands out like a shining beacon for its grade. The most famous era coin that changed everything for one collector started as a mysterious oddity kept by a bank teller. The finder noticed something unusual about its weight or thickness. It was off metal or struck on an incorrect planchet, despite the 1979 date, and it was highly unusual. After verifying it with sophisticated testing, they realized they held an exceptional D Mint era specimen, a wrong planchet mistake. Curiosity led them to submit it to PCGS. And what came back was beyond belief. The highest possible grade for a coin that should not exist in that metallic composition or size from the Denver production era. Once news of the subsequent auction spread, collectors around the world started checking their own odd $1979. Thousands of $1979 were examined, including the millions from Denver. But only a literal handful of these errors have ever been confirmed. That is what makes this story so extraordinary. You could hold the same design, the same date, and yet one microscopic difference in metal composition or size changes everything to a multi-$1,000 difference. The world of coin collecting is full of such hidden wonders. And the 1979D dollar remains one of its brightest and most dramatic stars. And as we move into the final chapter of this story in part 2, we will reveal the deeper insights of how grading, pricing, and selling come together to turn history into fortune, and how you can perform the weight and composition tests and identify the right marketplaces and strategies to sell your own valuable 1979D coins. Stay tuned, because what comes next will transform the way you see every silvery dollar in your pocket forever. Now, as we move forward in this incredible journey of discovery, imagine standing at the crossroads of history and opportunity, holding the same kind of dollar that once passed from hand to hand, now potentially worth thousands or hundreds of thousands to the right collector. This is where passion meets precision and history meets science. Because the true art of numismatics is not just about finding old coins. It is about understanding the mint's mistakes and the coin's survival. When you look at a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, you are not simply seeing metal. You are seeing craftsmanship under pressure, the art of engraving on a small surface, the science of metallurgy forced to adapt, and the emotion of history combined into one tangible artifact of the modern era. To appreciate its multi-$1,000 era value, you have to see what makes the error piece special, beyond rarity. This coin's composition. Its off-metal property. Its flawless preservation for coin that should have been melted down or never created. That is what drove collectors wild at auction. The truth is only a handful of 1979D SBA dollars even come close to the highest level of MS-68 perfection. And that is why professional grading has become the cornerstone of modern coin collecting. Organizations like PCGS and NGC exist for a reason. They remove uncertainty in a world where one coin's composition can mean the difference between $1 and $100,000. Grading gives confidence, authentication, and stability to the market for these modern dollars. When a coin is sealed inside a tamper-proof holder known as a slab, it is protected forever from damage, oxidation, or manipulation. This encapsulation not only ensures preservation, but also verifies authenticity with serial numbers, barcodes, and certification records accessible online. At any moment, you can check PCGS or NGC databases to confirm your demint coins, details its grade and its market performance, and its metal content. That is the level of transparency that separates serious collectors from casual hobbyists in this high-stakes field. And if you are thinking about selling a valuable 1979D SBA dollar or era, that step is non-negotiable. Grading first, selling second. Now let's talk about selling. Because this is the part that transforms your discovery into real value. There are multiple avenues, and each comes with pros and cons based on the coin's grade. If your coin has been authenticated and graded at a high level by PCGS or NGC, your best option is to work with reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. These institutions handle high-value era coins regularly. They provide marketing exposure, access to elite buyers, and ensure a competitive bidding environment that drives prices higher than private sales. They also handle insurance, transport, and secure payment, which protects you from fraud or risk on a high-value item. Now, if your demint dollar is valuable, but not yet in the thousands tier, you can still find strong offers on numismatic marketplaces like eBay or MA shops. But only after grading. Never list a raw coin for sale at high value, because unverified cents draw skepticism. And you might get only a fraction of its true worth beyond online platforms. Local coin shows and conventions in major cities across the United States also provide great opportunities to connect with serious collectors and dealers for lower grades. Always carry proper documentation and never rush a deal when dealing with a high-grade SBA or the wrong planchet error. Patience is everything in this field, because timing can make or break your profit margin significantly. Prices fluctuate depending on market trends, collector demand, and even global economic conditions, and the scarcity of high-grade errors. The coin market, just like art or luxury collectibles, thrives on rarity, provenance, and condition. And the 1979D Susan B. Anthony dollar and its errors embody all three in one unforgettable modern story. Another factor that influences value is presentation. Collectors love a good story, and if you can trace your coin's provenance, meaning its ownership history, it adds authenticity and mystique to your listing. Imagine telling potential buyers this demint dollar originated from an untouched hoard or was found by a former mint employee. That narrative alone can elevate perceived value by thousands of dollars. It connects emotion to metal, and emotion is what drives collectors to bid beyond logic and market value. Now let's dig a little deeper into the technical side. The Susan B. Anthony design was created by Frank Gasparo and features the familiar portrait of Anthony on the obverse. The reverse features the classic eagle landing on the moon, which was also used on the Eisenhower dollar, a specific time frame. The change to a smaller diameter meant that the mint had to use different planchets and dies to accommodate the new size. This attention to technical detail is what makes the 1979D SBA dollar a unique numismatic item. The composition change also caused problems with vending machines, which were calibrated for the heavier Eisenhower dollar, resulting in widespread rejection. The irony is the very thing that made it unpopular in 1979. Its size made it iconic and desirable today. That is why condition matters so much for the 1979D. Because a coin that survived decades without wear or deep bag marks is more than rare, it's miraculous given the handling it received. So how do you know if your 1979D Susan B. Anthony dollar could be valuable? First, check for the D Mint mark below the date on the obverse. If there is a D, it is from Denver. Next, perform the weight and size tests. Does it match the expected $8 $1 grams and $26 $5 millimeters exactly? If it is slightly off, or if the metal looks wrong, you have an error and should proceed with extreme caution. Next, look at the coin's surfaces under bright light. Any doubling of letters or design details could indicate a double die error, a specific D Mint variety, which adds significant value. Also inspect the coin's rim and field for any signs of errors, where the cladding peeled apart or die breaks, which are raised lines. Understanding these elements makes you a smarter collector and brings you closer to discovering your own fortune now. Let's take a moment to appreciate the humble SBA dollar itself. Its very existence speaks to a national effort and a massive logistical challenge faced by the US Mint during the period. Its presence on a coin was a necessary sacrifice that contributed directly to the push for a small, convenient circulating dollar. Every time you hold this coin, you hold a symbol of unity, ingenuity, and national purpose during a time of change. And that emotional connection is part of what gives the SBA dollar its lasting appeal among collectors and historians. The coin market thrives on stories like this, where history and rarity meet emotion and discovery, and the sheer shock of a mistake. Now let's return to the multi-$1,000 era specimen. Its sales shocked even the experts because modern dollars are typically low-value coins, not six-figure collectibles. Yet this wrong planchet error achieved legendary status due to its extreme rarity and its perfect grade from PCGS, the first of its kind. The auction created a frenzy as bidders from across the world joined online and in person, hoping to own a piece of numismatic history, when the hammer finally dropped and the winning bid reached well over $100,000. The room erupted in applause and astonishment. This wasn't just a sale. It was a statement. It proved that modern dollars, when mistaken and perfectly preserved, can rival the classics in prestige and value, and that applies equally to the 1979D at the highest MS grade. Since then, the $1979 series has seen a surge in interest, with collectors hunting for both errors and top-graded steel examples. Prices for high-grade D Mint dollars have increased significantly in recent years, showing that passion and knowledge still fuel this market. And that brings us to you watching this video. Maybe you have been collecting coins for years, or maybe you are just starting out. Either way, every collection begins with curiosity, and every collector has that one coin that changes everything. So here is your challenge. After watching this video, go through your change jars, your dollar rolls, even your old drawers. Look for any 1979D Susan B. Anthony dollars. Examine them carefully under light and test their weight and size. And if you find something special, do not rush to sell, learn, study, compare the features. And when you are ready, grade and present it the right way. That is how you turn discovery into value and history into wealth. And if you want to stay ahead of the next big find, hit that like button and subscribe to Royal Coin Value USA, because every week we uncover new stories, new treasures, and new opportunities hiding in plain sight. Coins are more than money. They are time machines. They carry the fingerprints of history and the dreams of a nation at change. From the first die strike to the final modern tally, every coin tells a story. And the 1979D Susan B. Anthony dollar is one of the most compelling and valuable chapters in American numismatics. So do not underestimate what you hold. Today's silvery dollar could be tomorrow's legend. And who knows? Maybe the next multi-$1,000 era dollar will be found by you. So keep watching, keep learning, and keep searching. Because the world of rare coins is full of surprises that can change your life forever. This has been Royal Coin Value USA, where history meets value and collectors become legends through precision and metal composition. So until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and may your next discovery be a high-grade D-Mint era. Because somewhere out there another story, another coin, another fortune is waiting for you in 1979.